3 of those losses. Now that's the upside. The downside, Shaquille O'Neal averaged 35 against them. Kobe Bryant averaged 30. Sacramento is not a particularly good road team, 14-27 on the road. And they ended the season on a 4-game losing streak and losers of 7 of their last 8. That is why the Lakers, despite the fact that the Kings have given them occasional trouble, are a prohibitive favorite in this 1-8 matchup. As you see, it's happened twice before. Denver against Seattle, Knicks against Miami. The present playoff format has been in place since 1984. O'Neal against Divac. That's the way the playoffs begin for the Lakers, who were 67-15, 23 games better than Sacramento's 44-38.
Well, great matchup here early, Bob. Jason Williams guarded by Kobe Bryant, all-league defense. Great size. It'll be interesting to see how Jason Williams attacks him and what speed, what pace he starts this game out. We know he can get a little hyper early in games.
Foul was on Glenn Rice, his first. The winner gets the Phoenix-San Antonio survivor. Suns up 1-0 in that series. Here's Weber, tying the game.
Now, you've just seen the two strengths of these teams against each other. Shaq in the post against Divac, Weber in the post against AC Green. Watch those matchups all day long.
Ron Harper floats through. Doesn't get the bounce, but the tip falls for AC Green, whose consecutive game streak stands at 1,110. Of course, any games he plays in the playoffs, or if he should miss one, doesn't affect that streak. It's regular season games only, and it's long since the NBA record. Weber over Green.
See, it's a very difficult matchup because he can step out and shoot the ball, or he can post. So they would love, speaking of the Lakers, to see Weber shoot a lot of jump shots rather than be down on that block.
Glenn Rice. He averaged 16 a game as Divac comes racing back and collides with O'Neal, and they hit Shaq with the foul. Rice averaged 16 a game. That's down from his days as the #1 option for the Charlotte Hornets. But if he shoots it well in the postseason, not only are the Lakers nearly unbeatable, but he's playing for next year's contract.
Well, you know, Glenn Rice is a guy that is so capable of throwing up big numbers that you talked about. And what I loved here in this first possession in a fast break offense for the Sacramento Kings, they came right back after a score, and Vlade attacked Shaq in the fast break, picked up a quick foul. So Vlade needs to run the floor every time he can to try to wear Shaq down.
And the Kings' approach will be to try to quicken the pace as much as they can. They can't so much defend the Lakers as they can hope to disrupt them.
Absolutely. Disrupt the rhythm and the timing they love to play in this triangle offense.
Rice again. And Weber takes it.
And they must defensive rebound. The Lakers have really hurt them in the season series on the offensive board, averaging 16 offensive rebounds a game.
Weber with a quick start, and Sacramento takes the lead, 8-7.
Now, when I talked to Phil Jackson today before the game, one of his things where he's not so much concerned about Weber throwing up a big game, I'm talking about 30 points, as he is if he would get 10 or 11 assists. He doesn't want to get other people involved.
Kobe Bryant against 2 defenders.
They really have nobody with enough quickness to guard Kobe. That's a tough matchup for them.
Williams for 3. He won't be bashful about it. He shoots just about as many as anyone in the league. He doesn't shoot a very high percentage, but he checks his conscience at the door. Sacramento has made all 4 shots it's taken from the field. And they lead by a basket. Shaquille O'Neal just brushing defenders aside as if they were children.
Well, Weber came over to double team, but he took a very poor angle. He allowed Shaquille O'Neal to step right through the double team and get the dunk. You've got to close that up.
Williamson got free inside. And the Kings take a 13-11 lead.
And Bob, the Lakers know that Sacramento can score points. They average 103 points a game against them, so they are capable of putting up a big game. The Lakers have to match them.
Kobe Bryant is short with the jumper, but Harper grabs the offensive rebound. A set shot for him is good from just inside the three-point line, a two-point basket.
See, he's really the emotional conduit between Phil Jackson and his team. A quick transition here by Weber once again, but when you see timeouts and all, Phil Jackson always goes to Ron Harper, gets his sense, and then goes talk to the team. He's been a real glue to this team this year.
Very plain, though, that Sacramento wants to run every time they can.
Chris Webber, one of the toughest matchups in the league because he can run the floor so well. You see the power dunk. He's posted. He stepped out on the floor and shot the jump shot. Off to a terrific start. Sacramento playing with a lot of poise.
The Kings have made all 6 shots they've taken, and they lead by 2. With Ahmad Rashad and Doug Collins, Bob Costas back at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Doug, by any measure, the Lakers are the league's best team, but let's measure it several ways.
Well, when you look at the numbers, you can see why they are so dominant. We know of their record, but how did this record come about? You see number 1 in rebounds, an opponent's field goal percentage, and three-point differential of plus 8.5, tied with the best home court record with Indiana. They have the best road record in case they would lose the home court advantage, and they have the most lethal 1-2 combination in the NBA. Shaquille O'Neal, who's going to be the MVP of the league, and Kobe Bryant, who's playing first-team All-NBA, both on both ends of the floor. So with all those things, that's why they are where they are. The pressure's on them now. It starts today.
And the gorgeous turnaround by Kobe Bryant ties the game at 15. Here's Jason Williams accelerating at the other end, finding Williamson for the jumper, and that's the first shot missed today by Sacramento. Shaq in the paint against Divac. It's short, but the tip drops for AC Green.
Remember I talked about the offensive rebounding, Bob. That's 3 offensive rebounds for 7 points here already. Uh-oh.
Jason Williams just pulls up and bombs away with that 3, the second one he's hit in this first quarter. AC Green. They let him have it, and he missed the open jumper, but Kobe wrests the offensive rebound away. Hit the underside of the glass, and Sacramento comes back with numbers. Williams again. The follow by Weber, who was inside Shaq with ball position, and man, was that emphatic.
That was one of the most spectacular plays of the season.
Wow.
You talk about a big man with great hands. Chris Webber, what a tremendous finish.
Shaq looks to answer. There's contact, no foul. Green on the offensive glass. Shaq again.
3 seconds.
And it is a 3-second violation on Shaq and the Lakers. Watch the play by Weber.
The importance of your big men running the floor. Was there any doubt that Jason Williams was going to pull on that 3, Bob? He's already hit 2 of those today, but look at the hands of Chris Webber. The power, the spectacular finish, and look at him fall. He actually did a little backflip before he got up in the air.
He's already scored 10. Here's Divac, the hook over Shaq. And Rice clears the boards. O'Neal again. Once more.
Offensive rebound, number 6 for 9 points. So when you look up at the Lakers scoring right now, Bob, almost 50% of their offense on second shots.
Meanwhile, Sacramento has missed only 2 shots in this game, yet they lead by only a point. Nick Anderson knocked away and stolen by Harper. Taken right back. Anderson poked it to Divac. Jason Williams.
Against the Lakers, you've got to force turnovers. They don't turn it over much. They're 5th in the league. They get good shot opportunities. If you can pressure them, get some points off turnovers, it enhances your chance to win.
When Rice drives and is fouled, the officials are Steve Javy, Eddie F. Rush, and Mike Callahan.
Ron Harper makes a great strip of Nick Anderson as he tries to go up, and then Nick Anderson did not quit on the play. He comes in from behind. Vlade looks over his shoulder, sees Jason Williams, pulls up, knocks in that little jumper. 8 quick points now for Jason Williams.
And Rice hits the free throw. Folks, you can log on to MSNBCSports.com and check out Showtime Online for in-depth playoff coverage. Isaiah Thomas has analysis and predictions on each series. Bill Walton previews each game. Steve Jones looks at the 10 players to watch. And Matt Gukas focuses on the hottest playoff topics. MSNBCSports.com, the official website of NBC Sports.
See, one of the things they're trying to do is let Vlade feed the post and then cut through to give Weber room on that low block. So watch for that today. He'll be the passer. If Shaq helps, they'll kick it out to him. Bob, he'll look to shoot the jump shot.
Rice from the head of the key.
You love the playoffs because your star players come to the front. That's what this is all about.
Jason Williams guarded by Kobe Bryant. Divot's a long one. Air ball. But the Lakers touched it last, and the Kings will keep it.
What about we saw it yesterday? Karl Malone with 50. Allen Iverson with 40. Zoe with 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 blocks. It's the time for the stars to bring their games.
Divot's tried it again with no more success. Shaq to the left hand.
He's just punishing the double team. He's getting one bounce, getting his shoulder into Vlade, and getting right to the front of the rim. Those shots are too easy. Sacramento's got to do a better job than that.
Jason Williams around the screen, feeding Divot, and now Weber.
What a great passing team, Sacramento. They move the ball so well, and Bob, you see they're not standing on the perimeter. A lot of movement.
Kobe Bryant's jumper is off. Weber is alone under the glass. Williams operating on Bryant. Around the perimeter to Weber. Too quick for AC Green, but he lost the ball on the way to the hoop. There's a foul, however, against the Lakers.
See, the one thing about Sacramento with this matchup, when Weber goes on the perimeter, he's too quick for AC Green, as you talked about. When Ori comes into the game, he's too powerful for him down low. So he has to recognize the difference, who's guarding him at what stage of the game, and then adjust his game accordingly.
Here is Weber, who shot 45% from the line last year. This year up to 75%.
Well, you can see what he's done this year. During the Lakers, they have had no answer for him. Played exceptionally well. And for them to win today, not only is he going to have to score, he's going to have to rebound, but he's also going to have to be able to find his teammates out on the floor when they start helping.
His improvement at the line is the single greatest one-year improvement by any player in NBA history who took as many as 100 free throws in the successive seasons.
Well, what it shows you is you can always get better if you're willing to put in the work and do so.
Pollard and Stojakovic off the bench for Rick Adelman's Kings, and a foul at the other end.
Now, Stojakovic is in the game, one of the best 6 men in the league. In this series against the Lakers in the regular season, averaged over 20 points a game, shot 56% from the floor, and they had no answer for him.
Pollard doing what he can against O'Neal, a whistle before the shot. When you grow to be 6'11 and 265, as is Pollard, growing up, you're always the biggest guy. In the class, in the schoolyard, anywhere. It must be very strange not only to find somebody bigger, but so much bigger that you're puny next to him.
Well, the sad part about it, too, is bigger, stronger, faster, all the things you're talking about. It's one thing to be bigger when you throw in speed and quickness, and Shaquille O'Neal is exceptionally quick to the ball today. And, Bob, I know I've said this about 3 times already, but Sacramento has got to defensive rebound the basketball.
Shaq has forced Pollard into 2 quick fouls. Here's an overlooked statistic. Laker players have fouled out a combined total of 10 times this year. But as the opposition tries to defend Shaquille O'Neal, there have been 42 disqualifications against Laker opponents. So even if he misses some of these free throws, as of course he does, he's constantly putting the other team in foul trouble, forcing the other coach to make substitutions he wouldn't have to make against other teams, getting the opposition over the foul limit early in quarters, and sending other Lakers to the line.
Bob, you said it all right there. What he does, he gets their better free throw shooters to the line earlier in the quarter.
Williams, good look at a 3. And Shaq takes it. Tied at 26 in a high-scoring first quarter. O'Neal guarded this time by Weber. The follow by Green. It didn't drop. Bryant picks it up. And Steve Javie says, hold on. A.C. Green couldn't finish that time, but he has done a job on the offensive glass in this first quarter.
How about this now? L.A. 9 offensive rebounds. Sacramento only 3 defensive rebounds.
In the 4 regular season matchups, even with them here at 26 apiece with 2.5 minutes to play in the first. Of course, they could have avoided the 8-1 matchup by holding on to the 7 seed had they beaten Seattle at home last Tuesday. Instead, they lost to them in overtime, and they concluded the season dropping 7 of 8.
Well, the difference in the team this year coming into the playoffs as opposed to last year they went into the playoffs winning 10 of their last 11. They were on a real high, and they went in and played that way against Utah. So we'll have to see if this little lull at the end was due to, the injury to Chris Webber and just the fact that they just didn't finish the way they'd like to. But concern was they lost some home games they normally didn't lose.
Pollard out to Stojakovic, who'll fire the jumper. Bryant in the front court. Accelerates into the lane and goes all the way to the rack.
Again, nobody with enough quickness. Nick Anderson not quick enough to guard Kobe Bryant. Kobe knows that, so he's not going to live with that jump shot. Crossover, get into the lane, get the easy one.
Green alone on Weber, who slings it cross court to Williams. A 3 over Bryant is no good. Harper at age 36 takes it the length of the floor and is hammered. He'll come to the free throw line.
The old adage of teams that run don't like to have people run against them, but you see Kobe Bryant, the little head and shoulder fake, the up and under, splits 4 defenders and lays the ball in the basket. Sacramento, a porous transition defensive team. Now, one of the problems is you see the hard foul by Weber. Kobe Bryant is playing Jason Williams. When Jason Williams takes a shot, he's playing Harper. So he's trying to cross and catch up to him in transition. Nick Anderson's got to pick him up until he can get back there. So that cross match is a difficult thing, Bob, as this game goes on, and Harper knows that.
And the foul a moment ago was on Chris Webber. That's his second. Robert Horry in for A.C. Green, who played a strong first quarter.
What happens now is Sacramento really loses their low post game. Now, Thunderbird can score on occasion down there, but their 2 best low post players are Weber and Divac. They're both sitting out. They're going to become a perimeter team here. Will they make some shots? Watch the end of this quarter here. The Lakers are going to try to make a little surge to give themselves some distance.
They're up by 4 as Harper makes 1 of 2. Bryant at 6'7", guarding the 6'1" Jason Williams. Poked away from Stojakovic by Rice. Into Bryant's hands. What can you say? The ball handling, the move, the sweet J to finish it off. And now Williams kicks it away at the other end.
This is where Sacramento gets themselves in difficulty. They start making a few mental errors on the offensive end, and then their defense breaks down.
Shaq to Kobe. Recovers it. They've still got 10 on the shot clock. Jump hook in the paint by Shaq. No good, but Harper with the foul.
See, no block out that time. Jason Williams allowed Harper to go right to the basket. So, I mean, they've got 10 offensive rebounds in this period, but they cannot possibly win this game if they are not going to get on the defensive backboard.
And with only 45 seconds to play in the quarter, Rick Adelman is forced into a 20-second timeout.
The Lakers lead by 8 as they're making this little surge as championship teams do at the end of the quarter. The shot is going to go up, and Ron Harper is going to sneak right to the offensive boards. Absolutely no blockouts. Jason Williams has to understand that Ron Harper at 6'6" is going to go to the boards. As a result, Rick Adelman has taken him out of the game. Now, he's had a very good offensive first quarter, but on the other end, Ron Harper is giving them points that he normally doesn't give them.
Shaq is out, Travis Knight in. Last few possessions here of the first quarter. Here's Tony Delk just off the bench for Sacramento. To Stojakovic, who misses the jumper. Thunderberg gives them a fresh 24. Delk on the run, tough shot, and he banks it in.
Now this guy could be a real key in this series. Remember, Bob, we did the Sacramento-LA game, and he came in and played exceptionally well. 6'2", long arms, defends, rebounds. Watch Tony Delk in this series. He could be a key.
His basket ended a 9-0 Laker run. Kobe spinning, leaning, and missing. Anderson pushing it up the floor and heaving it at the buzzer. And the Lakers with a 6-point lead after one. Doug, you're always mentioning the last couple of minutes of a quarter. The Lakers seized it.
That's what
the coach and the rest of the players, as Doug mentioned earlier, but also he feels like he has to set the tone for this team to really let them know how to play to win in playoff games. He said for the last 4 or 5 years, they've had potential, and they've gone home early with a lot of potential and no ring. Bob?
Ahmad, you're right, swept out of the playoffs the last couple of years by Utah and by San Antonio. But this, obviously, although some of the faces are the same, is a much different Laker team. Pollard screening for Delk. And Tony Delk, who so often gives them a boost off the bench, makes it 34-30.
See, he's a very good rebounder at the guard position. We talked about 10 offensive rebounds in that first quarter for the Lakers, Bob. That's the difference. They got 28 shots, only 22 for Sacramento. They both shot 50%. They just got more shots at the basket.
Kobe backing in on the smaller Delk. And banking it home.
See, I mean, that's 20 points now already for Kobe and Shaq combined. During the regular season, they got 65 combined against this team. They've got to make somebody else make some shots.
Thunderberg with that lefty hook that spills off and into the hands of Bryant. Harper lost it. John Barry takes it and pulls up for three.
Why? You got a 2-on-1. Why shoot a three?
Here's Harper at the other end. He'll follow his own.
11 offensive rebounds now. That's 12 second shot or second chance points now. Rick Edelman had just got to put his head down. They had a 2-on-1 fast break off that steal, and Barry shot a three.
Sacramento wants to run. They want to dictate the pace, but they're often being beaten in transition. O'Neal made Pollard change the shot. And Eddie Rush says, stay right here, there's a foul.
Now take a look at this. The ball is going to be picked up by John Barry, a nice steal. You can see it right here in this opportunity here, and it's going to come down the floor. Look, it's a 2-on-1 fast break. Drive the ball to the basket. Make Kobe Bryant pick you up. When he does, drop it off to Tony Delk. You shoot the three. That's why they're 28th in percentage and first in attempts in the NBA from that three-point line.
Foul was on Rick Fox. It was his first. Brian Shaw has just come in for Ron Harper off the Laker bench. Here's Stojakovic. He is one of the best pure shooters in the NBA.
They don't want to let him get started. Again, during the regular season, shot 56% against the Lakers, averaged over 20 points a game. And Rick Edelman told us before the game, he said, I'll go to him early if I don't like what I see with Corliss Williamson.
Robert Orange. The first basket for the former Houston Rocket. Tony Delk inside to Thunderberg.
Another nice play by Tony Delk. So he has come in and given this team a very, very nice lift.
Meanwhile, the people you surely consider the big three for the Kings, Divac, Williams, Weber, on the bench.
Using statistics against each other. In this case, you can't. The Lakers on the offensive backboard, second chance points. Shaquille O'Neal inside, get to force the miss. He goes right back and lays the ball in the basket. Ron Harper on the little swooping drive, no block out. AC Green with the tip in. Jump shot once again, no block out. Ron Harper, that's his fourth offensive rebound of the first half. Steps out and buries a three, and then he follows this one up. 11 offensive rebound, 12 total points. That is the difference in this game right now, because look at the shot opportunity. Sacramento's shooting a very good percentage, but the Lakers have 4 more attempts and they lead by 6.
Divac back in, guarding O'Neal. Williams and Weber still on the Sacramento bench. Look at that excellent pass, even though Shaw couldn't convert. O'Neal has more assists than any center in the NBA.
Now let's see if Vlade can get himself involved. Step out on the floor, bring Shaq out, maybe hit a jump shot here off the pick and roll.
He screens for Barry, who swishes the three.
See, when Sacramento comes in with their bench, they're actually a better defensive team. Delk and Barry out there on the floor give them a better defensive backcourt than what they start with.
Kobe Bryant leans in on Stojakovic, and it comes up short. Barry to Stojakovic. And the tip by Tony Delk. What a pesky little guy he is.
I really like him, Bob. I loved him coming out of Kentucky. But he was that kind of combination guard.
Robert Horry looking for Kobe in the paint, who recovers it, but then loses it.
Lakers a little out of sync right now. The bench doing a nice job for Sacramento and really attacking once they get at those turnovers.
Kings are on a 7-0 run and within a point. And Sacramento will keep it.
Well, they call him the bench mob in Sacramento, and Rick Adelman has tremendous confidence. John Barry, we saw his brother Brent yesterday for Seattle burying some threes. He knocks this one down. Playing in a nice rhythm right now, Sacramento. I like what they're doing.
Divac.
There's that little jump shot you got to bring Shaq out of the paint with. That's going to be a critical part of this series and anybody who plays against the Lakers.
Sacramento's bench, meanwhile, has outscored LA's 13-2. O'Neal surrounded. Fox follows. Shaq third try. You don't stop that. And he's in double figures with 11. Weber peels off the warm-up, and he'll check back in. Funderburk's fadeaway. Won't stay down, but here comes Delk, streaking in to take it. It's poked away, though, on his pass, and the Lakers steal it. Kobe thought about a three. Collision with Barry, no whistle, and he buries the jumper.
Steve Javie looked at John Barry and said, get up, I'm not going to go for that little flop right there. So Kobe gets a break, and he takes advantage of it.
Here's John Barry through the lane. There's a whistle and a foul. It could have been a three-point play, but it wouldn't drop. Back to the Staples Center in a moment. But lost to the Knicks, the eventual champions that year, in the Eastern Conference Finals. But as I recall it, John Havlicek was hurt and played with one arm, really, for the entire series against the Knicks.
Well, actually played left-handed in that series. He hurt his right shoulder. But, you know, when we talked to Phil Jackson before the game, you see the Lakers there, he knows that this time of the year right now is why he's here with this team, because this team has shown in the past a lot of potential, but a little adversity has knocked them off their path. It's up to him to keep them on course regardless of what happens, you know, step by step along the way in the playoffs.
Robert Horry for three to boost the lead to 47-43.
See, Phil Jackson loves when he steps out there and no hesitation shoots that ball. Remember now, at one point in time, he was a terrific three-point shooter in the championships in Houston.
Divac, the former Laker, over Shaq with the left hand. Ball poked to the side, and it's touched last by the Lakers. Sacramento will keep it. Shaquille O'Neal didn't flinch the other day as the playoffs approached. He said, look, if we don't win the championship, it's a failure. It's that simple. Championship or nothing.
I like that because, you know what, he's right. Because no matter what they've done, they've dominated the league, Bob. We showed the graphic a while ago as Weber makes the little jump hook in the lane, but we showed how dominant they have been all season long. But right now is when greatness is judged, and Shaq is the MVP.
2 in a row from beyond the arc for Robert Horry.
Confidence is an amazing thing, isn't it? Once you start feeling it, no hesitation. And that's Vladdy's got to call it right back up and he misses.
Back come the Lakers. 50-45, very high-scoring game. Still 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. O'Neal recovers it and scores. He has 13, as does Kobe. Weber is the game's high man with 16 for Sacramento. John Barry knocked away from behind and stolen by Shaw. He's got Rice on his right, and Brown will lay it in.
This is what's hurt Sacramento against the Lakers all season long. They play them a little even, and then a little surge. Whether it be a block shot, whether it be a steal, whether it be some offensive rebounds. Brian Shaw plays John Barry in from behind, gets a piece of it, and this is the way you run the fast break. Make the defender come over, stop you, fill the lane. You got a great three-point shooter, but he runs for a layup. Today against Portland, tough loss for Minnesota. So you see what happens is the pressure's turned up. That's when you got to perform.
O'Neal steps in and intercepts the pass. Lakers look to push their lead into double digits. Ori. Divac has it. Here's Tony Delk, whose fine play off the bench has kept Jason Williams on the sideline for quite a stretch. Chris Webber's fadeaway won't go.
The Lakers guards go back and rebound, a critical part of their defense.
Here's Derek Fisher canning his first shot.
Now remember, this guy really struggled at the end of the year. Was shooting about 20%. They put him on the injured list. He had bone spurs in his heel, got a little rest. Looks like he's got a little bounce in his step, helped his confidence.
Lakers by 11. Weber collides with Shaq. The foul is on O'Neal.
Now this is what you call a soft shooting touch. Weber pump fakes, he goes up, the ball bounces around and gets stuck up there. It'll be a two-shot foul, but I guess that's what you call a soft touch. That ball just crotched up there. I've never seen a shot do that off the bounce. Usually you shoot it straight in there. That time it bounced up there and got caught.
Weber with 2 free throws. And the first one ends a 9-0 Laker run. Coming to NBC next Sunday, it's the 70s for 4 Kent State grads of 1970, a decade that marked the end of innocence and would test their friendship, featuring the hottest music of the decade. The 70s, a miniseries coming to NBC next Sunday.
You know, Bob, in the regular season, the Lakers against Sacramento, their big three scored 84 of their 103 points. Today, they have 27 of 56. Better balance. Phil has to like that. He's got other people involved right now.
Fisher from Shaq. And Jason Williams, who's just come back in, takes the rebound. Nick Anderson. That's his first basket, a three-pointer, to make it 56-50.
Well, Phil Jackson very upset. I watched him there because Brian Shaw went back and helped there in the post. Shaq didn't need any help, and he opened up Nick Anderson for the open three-point shot. Middle breakdown.
O'Neal's jumper is way short. Stojakovic has it. Sacramento looks to run. Stojakovic, wide open three.
Wow.
He won't miss badly like that very often. He had a great look at it and badly overshot it.
That would have brought it to 3.
Instead, Fisher is fouled on the drive at the other end. Boy, when Peja Stojakovic gets beat like that, you expect it to hit nothing but net. Instead, it hit nothing at all. The foul was on Divac, his second. Kobe Bryant back in. Brian Shaw out.
Now, see, Rick Adelman is in a little bit of a quandary here right now. Weber has 2 fouls. so does Vlade. There's 2:50 to go. You're down 7, possibly 8. If you keep Vlade, Weber in the game right now, they pick up the 3rd foul. That changes the whole second half. If you take them out and the Lakers hit you with a surge and go up 14 or 15, now you're really in trouble. So these two guys have to play very intelligently right now, Bob, and not pick up a silly foul. They need to both have 4 fouls going into the second half to play with.
Chris Webber. Another rebound for Shaq. O'Neal. Wow. Look at that shot. Where did that come from?
Excuse me. It looked like he jumped in the air to pass at the last minute. Kissed it off the glass. You know, Sacramento's done a pretty good job against Shaq.
And meanwhile, O'Neal lost one of his sneakers, which shouldn't be difficult to find. It's as large as some states.
Now watch this play right here. Shaq looks like he's going to jump in the air and to pass it. At the last minute, oh, I don't have anybody to pass it to, so I better shoot it. So they've done a pretty good job with Shaq, making him take some tough shots. And you see him pick up that size 22. That weighs more than you do, Bob.
Weber is jostled. He'll come to the line. You know what they say about a man with big feet, don't you? Big sneakers.
See Shaq bending over and tying those big sneakers. Talks to Steve Javie. Again, let's watch this last 2 minutes once again. This is where the Lakers made their little surge in the first quarter to get a little lead. Can they push this last 2 minutes and maybe push this to double digits? Sacramento's going to have to hold on tight here and play some good defense.
Weber has a chance now for his 20th point with 2:01 to play. Once a woeful free throw shooter. He's 6 for 6 from the line in this game.
Actually worked with Buzz Brayman a lot and his younger brother, and Buzz was the guy, remember, who worked with Shaq down in Orlando. So both of these guys have worked very hard on their free throw shooting.
Steve Javie stops play.
If you notice with the Lakers, when they try to get a guy into the post, they don't screen him into the post. They leave the lane wide open and let a guy flash in there and cut. And with the rules as such now where you can't ride guys, it's very difficult to play that cutter as he comes to flash to that basketball.
Anderson knocked it away. Lakers keep it. Second game in this series is not until Thursday. The first round scheduling has been geared for television, and it's been criticized in many quarters. Kobe Bryant has to beat the shot clock with a very long three, but it bounces right to Shaq.
Shaq had Robert Horry right behind him wide open, and Horry's hit a couple threes. And Shaq, he was screaming his name. It was selective hearing. Shaq wanted it in the post so he could get it back.
He leans in and scores, man.
You know about selective hearing, Bob. You turn me off so often, right?
I think it works for both of us to keep us sane. 61-52 as the clock ticks down toward a minute. Jason Williams, he worked for that shot.
I like the patience, though. Normally you see him come roaring off that screen out of control. That time he took his time, got himself square, and made the jump shot. That's a nice play.
With the odd scheduling, second game not until Thursday, Sacramento could go home if they wanted, rather than stay here between games. Rice.
Well, Glenn Rice has got the best of that matchup today. Defensively, he's done a nice job on Stojakovic, and offensively, Stojakovic has not been able to handle him.
Rice has 11. At the other end, Weber is hit with the foul as Horry goes down, and that's 3 on Chris Webber.
Remember what I said at the 2-minute mark, 2:50 mark? I said he's got to be very careful not to get a third foul. Gets his arm out, locks him up. Robert Horry goes down. The third foul, that changes the whole game.
Just finishing up on the first round scheduling, Phil Jackson was a bit concerned with His team concluding the year on the road Tuesday and Wednesday at Dallas and San Antonio, and then a relatively quick start to the playoffs, although they got the second day Sunday rather than the first day Saturday. But as he said, we're now able to use this first round to catch up on some of the rest we didn't get at the end of the regular season.
Very, very good point. On the other hand, Sacramento, like you said, can go home, so it helps really both of them.
Ori misses. Stojakovic rebounds. Last half minute.
Go inside to Vlade on Travis Knight.
There's a Laker foul, and it is on Knight, his first. And coming up on NBC.
Sunday, in 2 weeks, he reclaimed a kingdom, captured the heart of a goddess, and became a legend. Jason and the Argonauts, NBC Sunday in 2 weeks.
Meanwhile, Jason and the Kings trail 63-54.
When you look at the score right now, the Lakers with 63 points. They're on pace to score over 120 points. Bad news for the Kings. I think if it's maybe a 110-point game, they have a chance on the road. You get it over 110. I don't like their chances here beating the Los Angeles Lakers. So they're going to have to improve their defense. But Bob, more importantly, what's really been the difference in this first half is they've given up way too many second shot opportunities off offensive rebounds. As we see Shaq getting a rest here at the end of the half.
And Weber forced to the bench with those 3 fouls.
Last possession, under 24 seconds. Shot clock is turned off. Kobe Bryant will have the ball at the top of the floor. And you'll see him isolate against Nick Anderson.
Inside 10. Bryant blows by Anderson and scores. Anderson can't cover him.
That's what we talked about the matchup. That's why Kobe's run crazy against his team, averaging over 30 in the series.
Jason Williams ad-libbing a shot and missing at the buzzer. It's the Lakers by 10. Shaquille O'Neal had 17 points and 6 rebounds in the first half.
Add a little levity to the tense playoff situation.
Kings with the ball and facing a 10-point deficit as the second half starts.
So they got to get Vlade involved. He's got to make Shaq play. 1 of 6 just won't get it done.
Jason Williams. A 2-pointer just inside the line. And the lead cut to 8.
Now, Jason Williams has 10 points in the game and is playing well on the offensive end, but he's got to defend and get on those boards. Ron Harper had a big first half. 7 points, more importantly, 6 rebounds, 4 on the offensive board. So he's got to concentrate on Ron Harper defensively.
Shaquille O'Neal gets hit with his 3rd foul at the offensive end. And the Kings get the ball back.
You have to like what the Lakers have done. I mean, Shaquille has Shaquille has 17 points, but it's 16 shots. So they've done a nice job there with him.
Here's Divac, the hook. The tip doesn't drop on the first try, but it does for Weber on the second, and he has 22. Back to within 6, just like that. O'Neal got the bounce. He has 19.
You can see them going right through Vlade now. 3 straight possessions, inside, outside. That time Nick Anderson misses the long 3, but they're trying to establish Vlade, even as a passer, as much as he is a shooter right now.
Not only that, the possibility of tacking another foul on against O'Neal.
Well, he's got to attack him. He can't, back around. He's got to turn and face him, put the pressure on him.
Harper, head fake, and the jumper. O'Neal on the offensive glass. And A.C. Green with yet another tip in.
Well, Rick Edelman talked to his team. We got to rebound. We got to get on the backboard. You can see right now the same trend. Second shots, forcing Shaq to miss. Getting it back, and Jason Williams got a nice rhythm going right now.
That's the way he started the first half, hitting a couple of threes. In this instance, just a step inside the line on his first basket, and then a 3-pointer on his second try.
Well, I mean, he shoots 28% out there. You have to think, keep him out of the lane, don't let him get others involved, and eventually some of those shots are going to be missed.
O'Neal again. 2 more points. 21 for him. And the Lakers by 9. Chris Webber almost lost it to A.C. Green, recovers it, and cans the jumper.
We talk about his great hands all the time. Actually, A.C. Green played that pretty well. He took that ball between his legs and went right up and shot it.
Kobe Bryant.
The Lakers are in a great offensive rhythm. We know they're a rhythm team. Sacramento's going to have to do something to disrupt them. They're getting no turnovers, second shots, Bob. They've got to do something to disrupt their timing.
Rice tried to walk the tightrope but stepped out, negating the Lakers' steal, and the Kings get it back. Both teams shooting the ball very well at the outset of the second half. Webber's fadeaway. Pops out and then back in.
So that's 26 points for Webber now on 13 shots. Every time he lets it go, he's getting 2 points for his team. What's happened is the Lakers, though, are shutting everybody else down. Other than Jason Williams, nobody from Sacramento is putting any points up with him right now. So it's been a two-man show.
O'Neal out of the double to Harper. They swing it to Bryant. And Kobe connects. He has 19. Nick Anderson, no good off the glass. Nothing but Lakers underneath. Kobe into Shaq.
And more importantly, Webber with a touch fourth foul. This is what I talked about at the end of the half, how important it was to have 4 fouls rather than 3 going into the second half. Kobe with the long-range jump shot, the little right leg in the air, the hand to follow through. Now the penetration against Corliss Williamson and the touch foul, number 4 on Webber. As I said, he has 26 points on 13 shots. Now he has 4 fouls. He's going to be rendered helpless defensively. What is Sacramento going to do, and how long will it be before Rick Adelman comes in with Stojakovic in place of Williamson?
The lead is a dozen. Jason Williams can't cut into it, but Anderson takes the rebound. Here's Webber against O'Neal. Recovered by Williamson, who scores.
Well, Sacramento needs more of that, especially Corliss Williamson, Bob. He's not been involved in this game. He's got to start getting himself involved. Get on the boards, run the floor, rebound the basketball, get himself mentally into the game.
Former Arkansas star has only 4 points. Here's Kobe dumping it into O'Neal, who scores against Divac.
Too deep, too late.
He has 26, tying Webber for game honors at this point. Divac from 20 feet. A.C. Green controls it. Green in the paint had it knocked away. Webber steals it. And a whistle at the other end of the floor. Stopping the clock with 6 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the third quarter after foul number 2 on Glenn Rice. Just as he did in Chicago, Phil Jackson has a dynamic duo in LA to lead the way. With the Bulls of Jordan and Pippen. Good for 6 titles in 2 separate three-peats. The last one, a couple of springs ago in Salt Lake City. Now in Los Angeles, Jackson's banking on Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal to return the Lakers to glory.
Well, you see the numbers, and you see right down there, actually, Kobe and Shaq have averaged more this year than ever Jordan and Pippen did. But this only tells half the story. Jordan and Pippen, always first league all defense. That's how they won championships. This year, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe have established themselves as dominant on both ends of the floor. So what Phil has been able to do is not only sell these guys on their ability to score, but the defense wins championships, and it always starts with your stars.
And the basket by Nick Anderson. Michael Jordan was 28 when he won his first NBA title. Shaquille O'Neal is 28 now. Lakers looking for their first championship in 12 years. For this city, it would be the first major title of any kind in pro sports in nearly 12 years. Lakers won in '88 for the repeat, and the Dodgers won the World Series that year. Anderson fouled Bryant.
See, Kobe knows when that clock gets against him that he's the one guy that can create a shot. If you go into Shaq and it's kicked out, Rice is more of a spot-up guy, so Kobe's got to create. Nice job there by Sacramento. At the last moment, Nick Anderson gets called with a tripping foul. New 14 seconds on the clock.
A.C. Green. Rebound Harper.
But again, Jason Williams doesn't block him out. 5 offensive rebounds now for Ron Harper.
O'Neal back to work. Over Divac. Ball still loose. Finally, Vlade has it. Corliss Williamson through a crowd, nowhere to go. Rice pulls up for 3, way off. Corliss Williamson doesn't get the roll as it spins out, but he does get the whistle, and he'll come to the line for 2.
Well, as we look at Corliss Williamson's game, 2 years ago, before they had Vlade and before they had Chris Webber, he was really their dominant low-post player. Since they've gotten him, he really does not get those opportunities. So what he has to do is run on the break, get on the offensive boards like you saw in that possession where Vlade hit with a nice pass. So he has to be sort of a hustle kind of player now to get his points. He's not one of their primary options anymore, and most often you see Stojakovic come in because he's a better outside shooter and he complements his team better.
Williamson, a member of a national championship team for Nolan Richardson and the Arkansas Razorbacks several years ago, hits them both. The Laker lead is 8. A.C. Green, 2 on the shot clock. He'll have to get it off. And Divac has it poked away from him. Ball still loose, finally into Webber's hands. A 3-on-2. Webber has trouble with it. Jason Williams guns a 3. I don't know how you diagram any of that, but here come the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, and a foul. Offensive foul on Kobe.
Well, Kobe took 1 dribble too many that time. He saw Vlade back there defensively, and he should have just pulled up and taken the little jump shot off the glass. 1 dribble too many. Vlade reaches in there at the last minute. Kobe felt that his hand hit him on the arm. You see him pleading his case. Referee had no part of that, and he picks up his 3rd foul. Sacramento's right in this game. They get a basket here, and they're right back within 6 points, and they're down 8. That time, Nick Anderson shoots an air ball
on what could have been a 3-pointer. Anderson no longer the threat he once was in Orlando when he was a teammate of Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. Rice. He's got 13. And Sacramento asked for time. 3:59 to play in the 3rd. They were down 10 at the half, and they've only tread water since then. Reeling ever since.
And I started in '82 working with Bob, and I've never been the same.
Well, that covers all bases.
Bob, was that a long-term deal or a 1 year?
I signed a 20-year pact. I had a very shrewd agent. The Kings still down 10. 3:47 to play in the quarter. Swatted back into the crowd by Rice. The officials may be conferring about the shot clock. It was at 9. They took a second off. And they're going to leave it that way. Divac's on the run. And a 24-second violation.
That's a mental mistake by Sacramento. You've got the ball in front of you. You know there's the shot clock. You're looking at it. It's a dead ball situation. You've got to get a shot up. See, the ball goes up. The ball is going to still be in his hands right there. 0-0. Good call. Sacramento's had chances to get back. They just have not been able to crack through this Laker 10-point lead.
O'Neal with a nice pass to Green, who's stuffed from behind, and a jump ball is called.
Shaq makes a nice pass out of the double team as Weber comes over. AC Green feels like he has a dunk and does not feel Nick Anderson coming in from behind him. And he gets the shot block and a jump ball here. They need to control this. Try to get this down to, 4 or 5 points in the last 3 minutes here, Bob.
Kings control it. Weber against Green. AC was left alone on him, and Weber immediately took advantage.
Chris Weber has a tendency to float out on that perimeter. If he will stay down on that block, they can run their offense through him. When he gets out on the perimeter, they're going to let him shoot those jump shots.
Rice misses over Williamson. O'Neal doesn't miss on the follow.
How about this? The Lakers have missed 32 shots, and they have 18 offensive rebounds. You want to know what the difference in the game is? Sacramento cannot rebound the ball when they finally force a miss.
Shaq, like Weber, with 28 now.
That's the shot they'll get, and that went out there. Now, see, he was on the block, and he scored. What did he do the next possession? Drifted out on the floor, exactly what the Lakers want him to do.
Glenn Rice against Anderson, who knocked it away. Peja Stojakovic and Scott Pollard come off the bench for Sacramento.
Now, the Lakers are very aware of Stojakovic, only 1 of 6 in that first half. They need him now to give them a little emotional lift by hitting some shots. Say, AC Green check out the game. Robert Horry, who had a very good first half, 8 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, gave the Laker bench a nice lift in that first half.
2 seconds to shoot. Kobe.
Another offensive rebound.
Oh, man.
I say more. He shoots a shot that he has no chance to make. And does Jason Williams block out Ron Harper? The answer is no. 6 offensive rebounds for Harper.
The faces on the Sacramento bench. Robert Horry misses. O'Neal. And there's a foul on the play.
It's going to be a technical also.
It may be on Shaq. It is.
I tell you, when this game is over, if Sacramento doesn't win, Rick Adelman is going to be able to show all kinds of these kind of opportunities. Another miss that's forced, and Shaq just wants it more than anybody else. Where he pushes Nick Anderson. What happened after that play, he took exception to Nick, wrapping him up, and he pushed him after the play.
And Stojakovic misses the technical. You look over there. Assistants Pete Carrill and Byron Scott, Rick Adelman, collectively grimacing every time missed opportunities occur, and they're occurring constantly here for Sacramento. As you say, Kobe Bryant forced into a shot just to beat the shot clock, and the Lakers are up on the offensive glass again. Had a chance to tack on a point with the technical. Didn't get it. Instead, O'Neal gets a lucky bounce on his. Bucks and Pacers, game 1 of their series. The 1-8 matchup in the East tonight on TNT.
You know, nobody's talking much about this series, but the one thing that Milwaukee can do, they can put points on the board. They have the 3 on the perimeter. We know the Pacers, this is their last run with Larry Bird. They will be focused. Best home record in the NBA with the Lakers. Should be exciting.
Jason Williams makes it 86-76. And Robert Horry loses it, an unforced error.
Now, people are at home probably saying, why so many offensive rebounds? Well, when you double team, you lose contact with a man. But when that ball goes up, you got to find somebody and put a body on him. It's going to be an offensive foul on Weber, which is going to be his 5th. Critical, and now he's going to get a technical. Rick Adelman is very upset, as is Chris Webber. Felt like that Robert Horry flopped on the play. And remember, he picked up a foul like this right at the end of the first half. Watch this now as he bumps Robert Horry. That's a tough call right there. Chris Webber with his 5th foul.
Rice shoots the tee.
I think you got to let some contact go down there. And what happened that time is Chris Webber turned. He did not get his arms out. He bumped him with his shoulder. His hands were up. I did not think he used in any way forced to dislodge and get the advantage. Look at his hands here. He talked about his hands being up. That's where he's very upset. 2 critical offensive fouls on Chris Webber in this game.
He takes his 5 fouls and his 28 points to the bench. Here's O'Neal. And the Lakers pour it on.
See, the frustrating thing when you play against the Lakers, you're the opposing coach. You say, no, wait a second. If there's anybody who punishes people in the low post, it's Shaq. If you're going to call that against Chris Webber, then give us the same thing with Shaq.
Stojakovic had it knocked away by Rice. Out of bounds to the Lakers.
This has been a nightmare for Stojakovic. Glenn Rice has really locked into him. I think Phil Jackson really said, look, we need you defensively to take the challenge, and he has done that today.
Stojakovic, who has averaged 20 points a game this year against the Lakers off the bench, has been held at 2 in this one. O'Neal has 34.
Scott Pollard has no chance. If he's just going to let him come right to the block like that and catch the ball, he's at Shaq's mercy.
The lead is 15. Stojakovic for 3. Pollard on the glass. The tip. Funderburg. Fouled by Horry.
Now watch Shaquille O'Neal. Watch his, as he turns here, this is when he spins away from the defense, but on the next play, watch here, Bob, this subtle little bump with the shoulder. He goes in and boom, did you see him rock him back on his heels? Create some space. Now, he is so big and so strong, he just barely bumps him, but he knocks guys back. That's the tough part of playing Shaquille O'Neal. He creates that space, and then you can't guard him.
Shaq has 34, half of them in this third quarter. And as you noted in the first half, with O'Neal getting a breather here at the end of the first quarter and again the second, the Lakers with a flurry. Same thing here in the third.
Well, at the end of the first quarter and the second quarter, if you tallied up the runs in the last 5 minutes of those 2 quarters, 2 minutes in the first quarter, 3 minutes in the second, it was a 14-5 run, a 9-point lead. It was 10 at half, so all the damage has been done at the end of quarters. And again, that's what championship teams do. They hit you at the end of quarters when you relax just a little bit.
Lakers looking for the last shot. Down to 5. Kobe, double team, ball knocked away cleanly. They deny him. And with 12 minutes of regulation remaining, it's the Lakers by 14. There may be a foul here.
They've called a foul on somebody. The question is,
it's on Rick Fox.
And they've called a technical on Rick Fox. Steve Javie is a guy that you cannot say anything around, especially in a playoff situation. And Rick Fox, as he walked past him, said something, and Steve Javie teed him up. Let's see where the foul is called. Kobe goes inside. And they call it on Rick Fox. Right there is where they called it. So it'll be 2 shots. That's the technical by Stojakovic, and Delk will shoot the personal 2 free throws. 0.3 on the clock. If he makes this, make it an 11-point game. So could be a 3-point swing here right at the end on a nothing play by Rick Fox. He should have let that go, just got out of the way.
Fox got the technical when he took his gum out and threw it angrily on the floor. On top of it, it bounced and almost hit Sylvester Stallone. Now, you can't cross him that way unless you're Apollo Creed, and maybe that's why Steve Jabbie teed him up.
Yeah, you don't mess with Rambo.
Now, you're mixing your movies up here. Tony Delk can't hit the second one. John Sally got a rebound. He came in and played a few seconds, got that rebound, got his digit in the box score, got a line in the box score. 91-79. 12-point lead with 12 minutes left. And we're back after these words from your local station. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. Who's at the game in Los Angeles? Among others, Pete Sampras, Glenn Fry. Denzel Washington is here. We mentioned Sly Stallone. Could be the Hurricane against Rocky, although that would be an out-of-weight class matchup. And Jack Nicholson, who turned 63 yesterday in his usual seat at a Laker game. Listen to John Sally talking to Steve Jabbie at the end of the third quarter.
Thanks for getting me in the game.
Thanks for getting me in the game, he said. He played just a few ticks of the clock, actually a fraction of a second, got a rebound.
Well, you know, they always keep, stats, what you normally get in your playing time. They also per 48 minutes. John Sally played 0.3 of a second, got a rebound. He'd be averaging a rebound a minute. He'd be leading the league. Not a good sign here for Sacramento. 1-22 on the road when they're trailing. Not a team that comes from behind. A lot of it because they don't get defensive stops.
O'Neal. Short with a jumper. Thunderbird brings it down. Here's Tony Delk. O'Neal got in his way along with a couple of other Lakers, and there's a foul. Kobe Bryant picks up his fourth.
I think if Sacramento's going to get back in this game, you're going to see in the next 3 or 4 minutes, they're going to have to do some things defensively, and especially they're going to have to get out in the open court. Bob, how often have we talked about when you play the Lakers, if you get into a half-court game, they make it very difficult to score. And you see the 3 starters here on the bench, Jason Williams, Vlade Divac, who's had a very tough game, Chris Webber, who's been terrific but has 5 fouls. So he's going to have to sit for a while. But what happened is the Lakers worked the 2 days on transition defense, cutting off the floor. How many fast breaks have we seen Sacramento run today?
I took that to be a rhetorical question, but the answer is not many. Meanwhile, Rice equals his average with 16.
Just how easy was that, though? Just run in there and lay the ball in the basket. They can't get back in the game if they're going to give up that kind of easy offense.
Tony Delk.
Boy, he's played well.
He scored 11. Robert Ory couldn't complete it after a nice move.
Somebody's got to step in and take a charge, though. He just missed that layup.
Thunderbird out to Delk, who was fouled. Kobe Bryant flew out at him, and it looks like Kobe committed his 5th.
Sacramento's had some of their best stretches when they've had their bench in the game. Lawrence Thunderbird that time with a nice pass, and Kobe gets him on the wrist. Tony Delk once again going to that free throw line.
Kobe Bryant out, Fisher in. Meanwhile, Delk has scored 12 points, and he's played 12 minutes.
Well, again, they have one of their better defensive lineups right now. You see Delk, you see John Barry, Scott Pollard, although he's so oversized or undersized against Shaq. Lawrence Funderburk on the floor. Look for them to go to either Rice against Stojakovic or Shaq inside. That's their offense right now.
He just backed Pollard down, and by the time he got it, it was absolutely unstoppable.
Well, and Rick Adelman is saying, how do we guard him if we're just going to let him back us down that deep in the floor? Because you see that Weber's had 2 offensive fouls.
Foul at the other end.
The last 2 possessions for the Lakers, Glenn Rice has turned and laid one in the basket. Look how deep Shaq is when he catches this ball. Head underneath the basket, just turns and lays the ball right over the front of the rim. But look at just how deep he is. Absolutely, I would say that's why he leads the league in field goal percentage. That is a high percentage shot.
John Barry. O'Neal grabs it and protects it. Barry swatting at him like a gnat. Here's Shaw.
Transition defense. Who is guarding Brian Shaw? You've got to stop the ball.
Pollard. And he scores. His first basket. Brian Shaw, a running one-hander off the glass. He's in 2 in a row.
Well, this guy's been really a big find for Jerry West and Phil Jackson. He loves the big guards. He's come in. He's got terrific experience. Played very well.
Shaw's 34. He played in only 1 game last year with Portland because of an injured knee. Pollard hits from the foul line.
A little tippy-toe jumper.
Here comes Shaw in his 11th year out of Cal Santa Barbara. Teammate of Shaq's, of course, in Orlando.
Now watch, when Shaw gets that ball in the corner, they love to run that lob for a dunk.
It's Rice. It would have been a 2-pointer, but it pops out.
You see that so often, Bob, when Shaw and Shaq run that little lob pass for the dunk.
Barry misses from 3, but Funderburk gathers it in. And a timeout taken by Sacramento. They're down by 10 with 8:26 to play in the 4th. Derek Fisher diving for the steal. And the foul is on Sacramento's Tony Delk.
You know, when Phil Jackson goes into a playoff series, he normally targets a couple things that he can take away from a team. Today, Vlade, 1 of 9. Stojakovic, 1 of 8. Those 2 guys are combined 2 for 17. That won't get it done.
Shaw.
There's that lob.
O'Neal. You know, O'Neal has a nickname for everything. Dozens of them. And it's obvious what he nicknames that play when Shaw sets him up. Especially if it's failed the first time. When it works, it's the Shaw-Shaq redemption.
Scott Pollard with the offensive foul. Moves on this screen. See, Tony Delk's going to come off. Derek Fisher does a great job. He runs right into the screen and goes down. Pollard was moving, and he gets the foul.
Rick Fox. Shaw into the lane with the floater that's good. Brian Shaw with a nice little stint in this game. Now has scored 6.
They're going to be awfully tough to beat if the bench comes in and plays the way they're playing today. Robert Horry's been terrific. Brian Shaw's been excellent. Looks like Derek Fisher's more confident. You know, it's funny because Shaq let Scott Pollard do that one time and score. Next time he said, no.
Yeah, he didn't challenge him on the first one. That one he snuffed out. Now Pollard trying to contend with him, and good luck. O'Neal has 40. Iverson at 40 yesterday for Philadelphia. Malone 50 for Utah. Shaq's got 40 with just under 7 minutes to play. May not need him long enough in this game for him to get 50. They're up by 16.
Shaquille O'Neal with the high lob. Nobody can contend with that. He goes up and he slams the ball in the basket. But again, these 2 guys play together in Orlando. They have very good chemistry. Shaq, once again, the punishing inside move. Lakers by 16, and you're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Battle behind the 50 from Karl Malone. Portland holds on at home to beat Minnesota today. San Antonio minus Tim Duncan loses at home to Phoenix. The winner of that series gets the Lakers or Sacramento in the next round. Indiana, Milwaukee tonight on TNT. Philadelphia got 40 from Iverson in one game one, negating Charlotte's home floor advantage. Vince Carter, a shooting nightmare. Toronto lost at New York. Playoff stars so far. And Weber just picked up his 6th, I believe, on the collision under the basket. He's fouled out.
3 offensive fouls on Chris Weber that have taken him completely out of this game. Caught the ball, turned. You see the face of Rick Adelman knows that the chances of a comeback now have really diminished. But Weber goes to the basket. Here's Derek Fisher, steps right in. That's a good call.
He just came back after the timeout. He picked up the foul within seconds.
It's been a frustrating day for Chris Weber because he was on his way to a huge game. You see he had 28 points, but much of the game played in foul trouble.
He scored those 28 points in 27 minutes. A rueful smile on his face. He'll have to watch the last 6:53.
Well, it's interesting here, the lineup you see right now, Stojakovic out of the game as he is struggling. They've come in now with Tyrone Corbin, with Nick Anderson, Tony Delk, Jason Williams, a very small lineup. Looks like they're going to really try to speed up the game, maybe shoot some threes here, try to catch up.
Robert Horry. Shot it long, rebounded Delk.
The quickness on the floor, spread the floor, now penetrate and try to get something quick going to the basket.
Williams from way beyond the arc is short. Anderson picks it up. Here's Ty Corbin in the game for the first time. Anderson lets fly and hits a 3.
Now Sacramento's got to get up the floor. They got to get up and they got to try to force some turnovers. They have not been able to get the Lakers to turn the ball over, and I think that's one of the Achilles heels. If you can pressure them, you can force them into some errors on the floor.
Derek Fisher thought about a 3, now lets it go. And doesn't draw iron with it. Sacramento gets the ball back. They ask for a 20-second timeout. They trail by 13. Just under 6 minutes left.
After the quick 20-second timeout, we see Shaquille O'Neal on the floor. Chris Weber not disappointed that he has fouled out. Was set out over the last 6 minutes of this game. His team trails by 13. And again, Sacramento has gone to the small lineup. Look for them to try to create some easy opportunities. Now they'll start launching some threes, trying to do something spectacular to get back in this game. But I talked about the Laker turnovers. The Lakers have turned the ball over 9 times today. Sacramento has gotten 10 points. Normally, Sacramento forces almost 18 turnovers a game. They have not been able to do that today against Los Angeles.
Vlade Divac. Tony Delk around Fisher. Banks it in. I like this guy.
I like him a lot. I liked him coming out of Kentucky. And he has been a welcome addition to this team. When he got hurt with that knee, they missed him during a couple stretches of the season.
Here's Brian Shaw with Jason Williams on him. His pass deflected by Delk. There's that man again into Corbin's hands. Williams pulls up and may have messed up the break with that.
That's a bad shot. I mean, Jason Williams got to know that there's nobody there to rebound it.
Another turnover, though, by the Lakers. Anderson picked it off. Here comes Divac. He's bumped. He throws up the shot on the run and gets it to go.
Good things happen when you go to the basket. The three-point shot is a bailout unless you're really trying to catch up late. There's still too much time in this game to shoot quick threes. Vlade runs the floor nicely. Little act job there at the end. He gets the bump, the three-point play. Rick Adelman likes it. You know, they score here. Bob, you're talking about an 8-point game. There's still a lot of time, and Sacramento is the leading scoring team in the NBA. They can put points on the board.
Only moments ago, they were down 16. After the three-point play by Divac, they're on an 8-0 run, and they've cut their deficit in half.
Now, if you're Lakers, you'd have to think, go back inside to Shaquille O'Neal. He scored at will anytime he's caught the ball down low.
Here's Kobe just back in. They heed your instructions, although they force Shaq away from his preferred shot. Good defense by Divac.
Push the ball right now if you're Sacramento. Don't let the Lakers get their defense set up against it.
Anderson couldn't hit it, but Divac, battling for the rebound, is fouled by Shaq. And that's 4 on O'Neal.
Nick Anderson takes a 3, and that shot goes long, and Vlade hustling goes to the board. Shaq gets the foul over the limit. Vlade will be shooting 2 free throws. Bob, quietly here, 2 free throws. You got a 6-point game. Now remember, that's 2 possessions, and Sacramento is 4th in the leagues in made threes and 1st in attempts. So they're going to get the shots up at the basket. Can their defense continue to stop the Lakers to allow them a chance to win this game in the end?
And they're doing it without Chris Webber. They've climbed back into the game, trailing by 6, 4.5 minutes left.
Well, sometimes when you're the Lakers, you got a lead like that. You're a team that's supposed to win this game. You see the other team's best player foul out. You have a little bit of a mental letdown. Now they got to crank it up here again.
Divac knocked it away, but may have committed the foul. He did, his 3rd. They're not over the limit yet. So it's Laker ball from the side.
And Bob, even though that Shaq has shot free throws much better in the second half of this season, you can bet that he's going to have to make some free throws at the end of this game if the game is close.
He's got it down low. Off to Kobe, who fakes Delk off his feet and buries the jumper just ahead of the shot clock.
What patience that time by Kobe Bryant. I was kidding him before the game. I said, Kobe, can you believe it? You're an old grizzled veteran of 4 years now. How this young man has grown.
That basket stopped a 10-0 Sacramento run. Divac snuffed out by O'Neal. And a whistle that could hardly be heard above the crowd. This is one of the more exuberant crowds we've seen this year at a Laker game.
Well, they're excited. They know they have a chance to win a championship. You see the shot clock. Kobe with a pump fake. Tony Delk goes for it. Little reposition yourself. You balance. You get yourself square. You knock that shot. And that was a big shot. That pushed the lead back up to 8.
The foul on O'Neal was his 5th. Divac, the Lakers center in between Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Shaquille O'Neal, misses the first.
Now, you see Phil Jackson's going to lead him in the game. And the reason is because at some point in this playoff run, Shaq is going to be in a game that's very close, and he's going to have to know how to play with 5 fouls. This is why you do this. Phil doesn't mind this little adversity right now that Shaq has to play through.
He's got the ball, and he's got 42 points. So Divac with 2 big misses at the free throw line, and then O'Neal scores against him at the other end of the floor. Bryant is also playing with me. Divac has it spelled. The rebound to Harper. Lakers in no particular hurry, up by 10. The lob for O'Neal from Harper.
How good has Shaquille O'Neal been this year, Bob? We have seen them. This man is possessed. He's got one thing in his mind, winning a championship. I've never seen him better.
Divac. Rejected by O'Neal. And as Harper and Anderson battle for the loose ball, the whistle blows. Shaquille O'Neal, 44 points, 15 rebounds, and now 5 blocks.
But you see the little kiss off the glass as he flashes to the basket. And this is the kind that break your heart. These are the demoralizing kind. Not only does he dunk the ball over you, he sort of tosses you aside. Shaquille O'Neal has dominated the game, and Chris Webber, what he just cannot stand to watch. He buries his head in the towel. He's out with 6 fouls. Well, you wonder how trends follow playoffs, regular season. In the regular season, in the 4 games against Sacramento, we see the points here by our playoff stars as the playoffs are just getting started. But during the regular season, Shaq and Kobe combined for almost 66 points against Sacramento. Today they have 65. The regular season, they shot 56%, both of them. Today they've got a combined 60%. So that trend has continued. Sacramento has no answers for the 2 stars, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
After being fouled by Ron Harper just before the timeout, Nick Anderson makes 1 of 2. Trying to get back into this game. Sacramento has had a few too many misses at the free throw line.
Well, Vlade misses 2, Nick Anderson 1 of 2, so you miss 3 points there. Otherwise, it's an 8-point game. You cannot make mistakes now. You got to have a perfect finish.
Kobe Bryant with Delk on him. Kobe up in the air, had to change his shot, couldn't hit it, but O'Neal is there.
Determination. Shaq just wanted the ball a little bit more than Vlade. Went and got it.
Kobe slides through. And somehow, some way, hits an unbelievable shot.
We've seen some highlights today. How about Weber in the first half? That one by Kobe.
Jason Williams, you could tell he wanted to shoot a 3, and he hit it.
And that one by Jason Williams.
He was determined to get that one off. Somehow he did.
Well, Kobe looks like he's holding that wrist a little bit. Remember, he was suffering from a sore right wrist, and he fell on that last play.
Divac fouled O'Neal.
What a magnificent play. The post up against Jason Williams. Kobe knows he just goes around him. He hangs in the air, and there's where he falls on that wrist. You see him get up, and he's a little bit sore. But Jason Williams just tries to flag him in from behind, and Kobe beats him on the drive, and the spectacular finish.
Kings not over the limit. No shots for O'Neal, so he hits a field goal instead.
Do you think Shaq saw the NBC game yesterday that Karl Malone got 50? Maybe you want to put his little punctuation on it also. Malone has been the MVP 2 of the last 3 years. Shaq will be it this year.
And he clutches another rebound, his 17th. By the way, how about his percentage? 21 of 33 from the floor in this game.
Well, he was 8 of 16 at half, so the math, you can imagine what he's done here in the second half. Now Glenn Rice decides he's going to hit a shot, so it's all working right now for the Lakers. This is the team that everybody expected to see in the playoffs, and this is what you're getting right now.
That was a 2-pointer by Rice, giving him 18. The game is over. They're up by 14 with 1:01 left. O'Neal is still on the floor. He needs 2 baskets for 50.
Now, remember we talked to Phil Jackson before the game. I said, Phil, do you want to come out today and really set a tone for what your team is all about in the playoffs? And his answer was sort of interesting, Bob. He said, you know what? I wouldn't mind a little of adversity. He said, we've been rather unscathed most of the season. We had one little bad 9-game stretch where we were 3-6. Other than that, things have gone our way. So I don't think he would mind a little adversity here early. Today, he's not seen that. His team has been terrific.
As they did yesterday in Salt Lake City. With the game decided, the fans will cheer for the scoring hero. They wanted Malone to get the ball. Now they'll want Shaq to get it. But the Lakers are just running some clock here. 6 on the shot clock. It'll be Fox. Bryant wrestling with Divac, and it gets a little heated. They call a jump ball.
When that ball goes on the backboard, the Lakers are relentless. Kobe almost a spectacular finish. Gets the jump ball. About 23 offensive rebounds today as Shaquille O'Neal has a seat. He made a statement. He's ready. You talked about it before as you see Phil Jackson shake Shaquille O'Neal's hand. Great respect there between the two men. And Shaquille O'Neal said, if we don't win it all, this season will be a failure. The way he played today is going to be a load for the rest of these teams in the Western Conference.
He leaves with 46 points, 29 of them in the second half. Harper and Delk going at it. Foul on Harper, his 4th. Half a minute remains. Next week, triple headers again on NBC. We begin Saturday with showtime at noon Eastern. Then it's Game 3 of the Heat and the Pistons, followed by San Antonio Phoenix Game 3, and Game 3 between the Jazz and the Sonics.
With some interesting storylines there in those games. Grant Hill suffering with a bad ankle yesterday, really struggled. How healthy can he get? Can Miami win and go 2-0 up without Tim Hardaway playing? Is Duncan back in the lineup to try to get that series even? A lot of storylines here as injuries a major factor of the playoffs, and we're just starting.
Clock winding down. Here's Glenn Rice. Baseline jumper, overshot, into the hands of Fox. Bryant couldn't hit the putback. Last 5 seconds. Jason Williams deals it off to Anderson for the dunk. Anderson, the beneficiary on that last bit of showmanship by Jason Williams. But the story of the game, the continued dominating play of Shaquille O'Neal. Ahmad Rashad will talk with the league's MVP, that's a certainty, and the star of this game when we come back.